Chris Rothwell. I'm the Director of Education at Microsoft in the UK. And I'm speaking as part of a panel on day 2 at the Schools Academies Show. So that's the 4th of April at 2:50 until 3:30.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris. Okay, so if we get down to some of the questions now, what can we expect to hear in your panel session at this year's Schools Academies Show?
So our panel session is it's me from Microsoft, and then we have people from Tech UK and Nesta. And the overall topic is about the digitization of the education sector. So we'll see where the questions take us. But I think a lot of it will be talking about, how do we think about the classroom of the future? What impact will technology have, particularly things like AI and VR and AR and all of those sorts of things. How do we see that coming together in the classroom in order to help people learn and more effectively?
And what you mentioned AI, VR and other tech. Is there anything in particular that excites you personally?
I think there's a huge amount that's exciting about what technology will do in education, already is doing in education, really. I think when I boil it down, the thing that really matters is whether the technology in the classroom of the future is helping people learn more effectively. And so when you begin to bring all of those technologies together, the thing that probably excites me most is actually that we can make learning more accessible for people. And that means that learning becomes not just something that happens in the classroom, but becomes something that happens in and out of the classroom, and we blend those things really nicely. But also for people that have maybe different requirements of how they access content, they learn in different ways. Technology will actually be able to help those people engage with content in a way that makes most sense for them. So I think that's probably the thing that makes it most exciting for me.
Wonderful. What sort of solutions in that sort of context do Microsoft already offer teachers and pupils?
Yeah, I mean, probably the biggest thing that people will know us for is that we have Office 365 for education. And really, that's a whole suite of tools that helps people deliver content in the classroom, work together, help teachers work with each other, collect some simple sort of formative assessment along the way, and all kind of brings that together in a way that's kind of pretty easy for people to access, whether that's on devices at school, devices at home, wherever it might be. Of course, that access through Windows devices, so people can use things, and I see some incredible work that happens with things like Paint 3D and the mixed reality capabilities in Windows 10. But then also schools are using increasingly things like Microsoft Azure to run services and be able to do things, some really clever things with data. Actually starting to see some schools that are starting to do some really innovative things to make data collection, interpretation much simpler. So all right across the spectrum, really, we see schools doing some pretty cool stuff with our technology that helps both in teaching and learning, but also actually the way that people work and actually the way the organizations run. So right across the board.
Wonderful. And how do you see this setting up children for the world at large in the future?
I mean, the world is changing really rapidly. So you kind of think about the pace of change in the world and the way it's becoming increasingly digital. Entire industries and careers are being impacted by the rise of things like automation and AI and virtual reality. So new industries and jobs will be created. Some really established things will definitely be disrupted. And so as we think about preparing young people for that world, we really need them to have an attitude about lifelong learning, because the world is going to change faster than their career is going to take place, probably. And so as they enter the workforce, we need them to have some pretty good foundational skills. Things like creativity is going to be really important, but alongside things like computational thinking as well, and collaboration, ability to work with different people. And then, we also think that people do, as part of their education, need to have a really good understanding of what digital can do, because their world, their life will become increasingly digital, not just in what they do at work, but also how they live their life and access things that will help them over their lifetime. So kind of weaving all of those things together to kind of bring those topics together rather than thinking of them separate curriculum items, that's kind of where I think it gets exciting.
Wonderful. And you've touched on this already, but finally, why is it important for educational professionals to visit the Schools and Academies Show?
I think the reality of most people that work in education is that they're always really busy. There's always more things to do. And for all of us, when we get like that, it's kind of very easy to get very focused on just what am I doing and how am I trying to get through things and just kind of getting on top of everything. And the value of going to a show like Schools and Academies Show is that it's just a pause. And it's an opportunity to hear from different people across the industry, whether that's government or supplier or other schools and leaders, and to kind of get a sense of what's going on and learn from them, but also learn from each other. And just take that little break out of the hectic nature of day-to-day life in order to sort of reflect, like, actually, are we doing everything that we think is the right thing to do? People are always trying their hardest, but it's always easy to just take a pause and have a think about whether we're on the right path.
Wonderful. Thanks, Chris. I think that's all we need. Is there any final things you want to mention? Any programs that you want to promote or anything like that?
No, I mean, I think, from our point of view, that one of the questions you asked was about, what do we do for free for schools? And I think, we have Office 365 A1 that's available at no cost for education customers. And we see loads and loads of schools taking advantage of that and being able to use those services. And then the other big thing that we talk to schools about is education.microsoft.com. That is our educator community, and it is absolutely packed with resources that span, of course, learning how to use our products, but also how to think about incorporating digital into the way that you teach, ongoing CPD, the use of digital technology as part of pedagogy, teacher training is in there, curriculum materials, all those sorts of stuff. So that's the hub where we put all of our resources that are free for teachers to use across their daily lives.